All right, here we are, Ransom International. We're going to test a bunch of guns today. We're not going to run a bunch of different ammo through it. Normally you'd see us settle the gun and then run a bunch of different ammo. We're actually going to test all these guns with pretty well the same ammo. I think we're just going to run some LE ammo, settle the gun, do a group, and we're going to kind of move on. We'll explain to you each group as we do it. It's a little bit different test. You're going to see a lot of comparison between a bunch of different guns today with all the same ammo. Obviously, no barrel's the same, no gun's the same, no ammo's the same. We're going to find which guns like that ammo the best or which gun may be the most accurate today. So here you go, stay tuned. We're going to put it in the ransom rest with properly made inserts for each gun. You'll see that the insert is actually designed right off the hand grip of the gun. So they're a perfect match. It's going to hold, fire, and recoil just like the human. And you're going to see every hit that target. All right, going live. We're live. First round, fire in the hole. Okay, high left, about 11 o'clock. Round two. Just left of that, about an inch up and over. It rose slightly. That was a settling round. Round three. Boy, through the same hole of number two. Round four. Just to the right of number two, if my eyeballs are serving me correctly. That'll be 4, 5, round 5. There you go. It's kind of staying there. Round 6. Round 7. This should be last round. Round 8. Yep, slides open, cold. We need a ECI. We'll go down range and measure that and see what she gave.
Can follow along at the moment.
First round, we expected a deviation, and it rose and just planted her there. We're going to do a second group, so we'll just hang our next target up. But excluding our first round, we are looking at 9-12, 9-12 center to center. Center. I could see those two maybe a little larger, so we'll just go to an inch just to see what it looks like. And there's an inch right there, and you can call that an inch. As you see, I'm just past center line. Let's go over to here. So we'll call that an inch circle. You know, definitely within an inch. So we're happy. Not bad, but we're happy with that. We're going to hang another target right there. I'm on record. All right. Getting a lot of my back, aren't you? I think she's getting a good view. All right, ECI out. 8 rounds going in. This is our second group. Glock 17, Gen 3. Down to battery. I'm going to drop the slide. There you go. According to my optics here, it looks low, way low. So this thing's hitting high for some reason, at least according to this. First round, fire in the hole. Low right. Hey, at least it looks more like where it's pointing at. That's odd. All right. It's not uncommon for a hand rack round to seat differently than when it auto cycles. So if we would actually do this a few times, we're going to find out if your second round hits different. But I've seen it on quite a few guns. When you hand rack the round, it seats the bullet differently than when it auto cycles. So let's see if that's the case. Round 2, it should be closer to bullseye. Right above bullseye. This has a hand rack flyer. That's kind of interesting. At least out of that first one from dropping the slide. Okay, that was round 2. Round 3. Just up of that. Round 4. Right next to that one. Round 5. And round 6. That's a 1032 on velocity. Round 6 was 1027. Round 7. 1020. Not a huge deviation, but there should be round 8. Round 8 at 1028. Nice velocity deviation. Maybe only about 10 points. ECI's in. Coming up at a 45-degree angle. Going to eject the magazine. We are now cold down range. That is interesting. That first round. Now there may be a difference if I hand rack it and let it go. That was dropping the slide. So unless I did some more testing, it's hard to say if it was just that ammo, but from the variation I see here, I'd say it wasn't ammo. It wasn't ammo. It was something else. And we don't have hardly any wind here or anything. Let's see if we're still at an inch. I'm gonna just go straight to an inch. And it's a little larger group this time, center to center, for some reason. I say 6 of the rounds are under an inch. They're more like closer to 3/4. That one's way out there if we exclude the first round, but yeah, you're closer to 1.5 inches right now. So something about that round too. So closer to 1.4 inches. The average is 3 groups of 5. They consider the industry average. I think 2 groups of 8 cover that. we're cheating a little, but 3 groups of 5 is the industry standard, and we're going to do 2 groups of 8 for time frame today. Sound good? Yeah, all righty. So we're going to say 1.4. So we're not getting real specific anyways. And you got it on video. So yeah, you got it on video. So let's go ahead and write this one down as Glock 17 Gen 3. Okay, session 43, Glock 19 Gen 5 LE ammo. We got a good sight picture on center line right there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I can. So there you go. We're kind of glowing on center. Okay, ears on. Range is hot. It's that battery. Our checks have been done. Dry fire's been done. Things clamped. Rack the slide. Now she's hot. Fire in the hole. All right, just low. Down at the 6 o'clock. Return to battery. Okay, point of aim did come up and to the left a little bit according to our optic. We're gonna send round 2. Round 2. We should put that range camera down there. Oh, right on bullseye. Okay, round 3. Right above that. Round 4. Right next to that one on the left. Let's back up on our optic a little. Round 5. Right next to that one. Round 6. Okay, round 7. Okay, round 8. That was it. Slides open. PCI's in. Those were our very first 8 rounds out of this gun. That was a Winchester LE ammo. We're gonna go cold. Go down there and check it out. A little more of a spread on that first group here. First round here. Planning the rest right there. Okay. We're gonna exclude the first one like we did on the other Glock test. And we're looking at outside to outside, 1.75 inches, 1.750. 1.75 inches. It's a little less that way. It is not a vertical grouping. So I'd have to say that gun settled pretty quickly. It is left to right grouping. But it didn't all just group here at the end or there at the beginning. So we're gonna do another group and find out. But I'd call that 1.75 inches. Not as good as that other one with this ammo, but we don't know. We're gonna do another group and find out. Glock 19, Gen 5 with an optic. There you go. All right, Series 43 on the corneograph. Looks like we didn't trigger it on the last one. Glock 19, Gen 5. This is the second group. Saw the first one. Okay, magazine going in, coming down to battery. PCI coming out. Okay, we're gonna drop the slide. There you go. That optic is clearly up and left. We're at the 11 o'clock position. Let's see where she hits. First round, second group of the Glock 19 Gen 5. Fire in the hole. Yep, 11 o'clock of the bullseye. All right, round 2. Right to the right of that on bullseye. Round 3. Round 4. Round 5. Round 6. Round 7. And round 8. That's it. Slides open. PCI's in. I'm going to eject the mag this time. It seems like I keep forgetting. There we go. Now we're properly cleared. Stop record. You waiting for me?
I am, sir.
You're on record?
I am. Sorry, I thought you were right behind me.
No, it's all right. All righty. So kind of went back and forth. Pretty tight double group there. Yeah, interesting. So just those are within an inch. But you got 3 of them that are over here. Yep. 1.4 again. Pretty good. If I go to the maximum, I think you're going to hit that 1.750. Yep, you're back at that 1.75 inches. Yeah, we're back at that 1.75 inches for that Glock 19 Gen 5. Pretty clear it's not as tight as that 17. We'd have to do some more testing to figure out what the variable is on there, but it's not bad.
It's pretty
not bad, yeah, but obviously we didn't flinch. There's something going on there. There you have it. Zane in. Down to battery. Dropping the slide. We're now hot. Just low and left of bullseye, but we're expecting it to settle a little bit. So I wanted it a little low this time. All right, we good? Everybody on record? I'm triggered. I'm on record. MNP 2.0. First round. Fire in the hole. All right. Left of bullseye. Bring it down to battery. Not quite the 8 o'clock position, but pretty close. Hey, that velocity is way low. What happened? Round 2. Fire in the hole. Just 1.5 inches up of that. It's saying it couldn't acquire the bullet.
I think your camera might be in front of it.
Good catch. All right, round 3. Half inch above round 2. That's looking pretty good. First round obviously settled. Okay, round 4. And the velocity looks right now. Round 4 went right through round 3 hole. We're back to the 1,000, 1,020. Round 5. Right next to 3 and 4. Round 6. Same hole as round 5. Round 7. Just up with that. And last round, round 8. Slightly up with that. That's kind of strange, given the way the others had printed. We are cold. Magazine's ejected. Cameras are off. Let's go down range. All right. First round was low, but obviously when the gun went off, it settled and the rest are up there. Real tight group out of that M&P. Very nice. Definitely within inch 3, under an inch 3. Let's verify we're 0. We're on 0. Let's go to 1 inch exactly. Not 1 inch. Yep. Got one round bigger than that. Yep. Let's go inch 375. 1 375. 1 3/8. No, 1 3/8. That's where it's at. They call it 1 3/8. We're gonna hang a target right there where that group is, and we're gonna do another group out of this M&P 2.0. It held 1 3/8. Not bad at all, but that's okay. M&P 2.0, 9mm, second group. Going hot. Dropping the slide. All right, she's a hot one. Suppose I should get on the side I'm supposed to be on. Makes it much easier to operate the machine from this side anyways. Right. All right. Point of aim is down at the 6 o'clock position. No question about it. I'll zoom in just a little bit. Got a little blur there, but we're down at the 6 o'clock of the target. Interesting. All right. First round of the second group on M&P. Fire in the hole. It is right on bullseye, the 12 o'clock of the red ring. We are still pointing 2.5 inches below at the 6 o'clock. Second round. It's about 1.5 inches, inch and a quarter under that. Third round, right to the left. Fourth round, fifth round. The point of aim is not changing. Sixth round, and number 7. Point of aim still there. Point of impact's a little to the left. There you go. Round 8, velocity dropped on that one. 8, back to the 1,015. So round 7 was the lowest on velocity I've seen out of this ammo. Interesting round on round 7. All right, there you have it. I'd have to review the footage to see where exactly round 7 hit, but I'm gonna bring her up. Let me eject the magazine. ECI in. We are now cold down range. Let's go down range and measure it. Yeah, that's a spread. It is a round grouping. All over the place, but a round grouping. 1 3/4. Not as much vertical, but you got an 1 3/4 group there. There you have it. M&P 2.0. It's about right. That's kind of what I expect to see out of them. But there you have 1 3/4. All right, here we are. 10-4. Yep, we did the 17, the 19,
And the M&P 2.0.
the M&P 2.0. So we're on gun number 4. Yeah, the Sig P320. Very popular, famous gun here. Alrighty. We're just low at bullseye on our point of aim on the optic there. We're gonna go hot. Magazine going in. Down to battery. Point of aim is just at the 6 o'clock. For some reason it's not quite focusing for us. There's a good focus. Alrighty. Alright. First round of the Sig P320. Fire in the hole. Right where it pointed. That's fabulous.
Amazing.
That's fabulous. I don't know if I had that yet today.
Not yet.
At least from my camera here. Round 2. Just above from that. That's expected as it settled. And it did rise up there too. Round 3. Right next to it. Round 4. Right on top of them. Round 5. Right on top of that. Round 6. On top of that. Round 7. It's just drilling a hole, guys.
It should.
Round 8. As far as selling rounds go, we're having luck today.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, I've seen vertical groups out of 5.8 rounds, and these things are just settling today.
Go forward, yeah.
Stop. You got that. We're gonna find out. It looks like a 3/4 inch hole almost. So, all right, Sig P320. I'm just gonna jump up to 3/4 here. See what we got. 750, 750, 750. Yeah, you're 3/4, guys. And it hit right where it was pointing. So whoever was carrying this gun doesn't pull his shots. I originally was pointing in this area here, and then she settled, and she's actually pointing right here. So it's hitting where it's pointing. Just for sake of discussion, we'll grab that flyer, which don't mean a lick, but that's 1.5 inches, 1 5/8 to be exact. But yeah, we're at 3/4 inch group in 7 rounds. As we said before, the average is 3 groups of 5. We just did 8 rounds. We're gonna do 8 more. We're gonna hang the new target right there. So we'll see. Okay, we're on 47. All right, Sig P320, second group, LE ammo, going hot. I'm gonna drop the slide. Yep, right about bullseye where we hung this target. Looking like it's aiming just a hair low. The first round of the second group of the Sig P320. Ready? Fire in the hole. Right where she's pointing, just low of the bullseye. That's exactly where she was at. Round 2. Right on top of that. Round 3. Round 4. Round 5. Round 6. Round 7. I ruined it. The velocity just jumped up a little bit on that one. That was round 8. The velocity dropped back down. So that one jumped up. That round 7 was 980, and she was holding about 960s, 970s. So interesting, but still acceptable. Coming up, I'm gonna eject the magazine. 2 rounds. 2 rounds. 6 rounds through 1 hole. 2 rounds. We had a velocity difference. We had a low and a high. I'd have to review the footage to see which one's a low and a high. But we jumped up to a 980 at one point, and we dropped down to a 950 or 940. So we're experiencing a little more wind, but at 15 yards you wouldn't expect much. But it was dead a few minutes ago. In the last group, it was a dead group, so or dead wind. But let's go to 3/4. And at 3/4, with that top round, you're a little more than that. I think you're a half, or let's say 5/8. With 6 rounds. Yeah, 5/8 with 6 rounds. Impressive. But from max to max, a little bigger with the 1 flyer, 1 3/8, 1.5 inches. Yep, with your 2 flyers, you're 1.5 inches. Totally acceptable. Minus the 1, you're at 1 inch. There you go. 9925 on the calipers right there, you're at 1 inch. So that's a 1 inch. Yeah, crazy on the 2 rounds, but that's not unexpected. I mean, this ain't no match grade ammo.
Right.
LE ammo. And 6 rounds through 1 hole. Very impressive. Especially a 1/2 inch hole.
Yeah.
Smaller than my finger, so. There you go. That's it. Back up. CZ, P10C. Magazine going in. Down to battery. Dropping the slide. She's a hot one. Okay. A little low of bullseye. Just that. All right. Got a little wing going on now. All right. First round. Fire in the hole. Just low of bullseye down at the 6 o'clock. Optic says it's right on bullseye now. She's rose up at least 1 inch. Let's see where second round goes. Second round, up about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. All right, she appears she's about stayed there. So third round, looked like right on top of itself. Yeah, optic looks same spot. Round 4. Yeah, right on top of itself, drilling a hole. A little longer on velocity, it's a little longer barrel, huh guys? Even though it's a C, it's a longer barrel than that P320. All right, next round. All right. She's kind of drilling a hole right there. There you go. All right, that'll be 7. Here's number 8. All right, he's got a hole. She's gone clean. ECI in, magazine out. All right, first round down here. Next 7 right there. Nice little round group. I'll jump to an 875, which is a 7/8, and see what we got. She's under 7/8 from center. Yeah, center, you're about 7/8 there. Center, you're about 7/8 there. So she's under an inch. We call her about a 7/8 group there. Not bad. A little bigger than the P320 did for its first group, but not bad at all. We're gonna pull this target. We're gonna hang the next one right here. So we good? All right. CZ P10C. It's a good gun to test on video. LE ammo, 8 rounds, magazine going in. This is the second group. Down to battery, drop the slide. She's hot. All right, first round of the second group on target. We're pointing, I was being critical, just hair left of bullseye, if not right on the bullseye. First round, second group, fire in the hole. Just low. Round 2. Just up of that. Yeah. Round 3. Right on top of round 2. Round 4. Just up and left of round 3. Round 5. Off to the right. Boomer. Round 6. It's a group though. Round 7. Right on top of the other ones. Round 8. Oh, that one went up above. Other than that, I love the group. And we got each round on video. I'm gonna bring her up, eject the mag. We're gonna go cold. Let's see how warm that barrel is. It is hotter right now. That is a warm barrel. She did cool between rounds though, so. Alrighty. First round, hand rack. It's not uncommon to get a hand rack flyer, let's call it. The forces applied when I hand rack that is not the same forces applied to when it auto cycles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and discontinue that hand rack on this one. Without more testing, I'm not sure if that was just an odd ammo velocity or just a hand rack. Well, let's just measure the biggest group. 1.4, so it's under 1.5 inches. It is slightly vertical, that is strange. And 2 inch there. So it's more of a vertical group than any of the others we've seen today. I'd almost like to do a few more rounds to see if it duplicate that group again, but for sake of speed, we're gonna move on. I'm not actually sure this is a positive test on that one. A little more vertical than I'd like to have seen. Not bad though, it's just over 1 3/8. 1 3/8. Yeah, just over 1.375. You could call it a round group, but it's looking definitely more vertical for whatever reason. Maybe it's velocity. We got a little more wind than we did this morning, but that shouldn't have affected that at this distance. All right, Staccato 2011, bringing it up. 8 rounds, magazine in. Dope. Slide down. We are hot. We're happy. First round of the 2011, fire in the hole. Low left, about the 7 o'clock. All right, she did rise up. Next round. Right on top of that one. Round 3. Yep, she come up and left, even on the sight picture. You'll be able to see that when you review the video. She's about level to bullseye now at the left, about where that round hit. Round 4. Oh, that's splitting the difference. I'm not sure. Round 5. Round 6. Okay. I almost think that thing came up a little more. Round 7. And round 8. All right, definitely a few settling rounds in there. We expect that though, especially given we put a rubber band around this safety. It was the toughest one to fit. It was the only one we didn't have the grip insert for. So a little flawed there. I'm going cold, gonna go off. Alrighty. Call if it was 2 and then all this. We'll have to watch the video. But the 6 rounds are within 875. The 6 rounds are within 875. So that's 2 rounds. You're more than that 1.5 inches. More than that 1.5 inches. 1 3/4. You're pushing the 1 3/4 a little larger. 1.875. We got to do another set of group. Definitely vertical, definitely settling rounds. That's all I can say there. That's expected. We actually put a rubber band around the safety on this one, keep that safety engaged. So we expect some vertical as it settled. Not as perfect fit as the others. That's kind of on us. but we're gonna do another group. We want to show every round we do through this gun. So we're gonna do another group, see if she settles down. We're gonna hang the next target right here. 8 rounds, magazine going in. ECI out, down to battery. Dropping the slide. We are hot. First round, on target. Looks like we're aiming a little high. Safe's on, all right. Fire in the hole. Right on bullseye. Down to battery. Round 2. Right on top of itself. Round 3. All right. Round 4. Drilling a hole. Round 5. All right. Round 6. And then round 7. And then round 8. Yeah, it drilled a hole on camera. We got each point of impact. She's looking a little larger than 3/4. All right, let me put the ECI in. Stop it. We're going to go down range and measure her up. Hey, there you go.
So what generates that much of a difference?
Oh, from our first grouping?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So our first grouping, as we said, now we were lucky with the other polymers. Pure outright luck. Typically you have to do 5 to 8 rounds to settle the gun. Typically the first group in all the guns should be alienated. You know what I'm saying? Because typically we call them settling rounds. So out of all the guns, you would really only consider the second grouping. The first group we consider settling rounds. Obviously we had 1 and 2 and it would settle up here, that's standard. We just luck of the draw today. I don't know how I put those Glocks in there and we got them settled like that. I literally have had to do 8 rounds to have a gun settle. Okay, so we just really lucked out today that our first groups on all the guns were perfect. I just don't know how. You asked that question earlier and I made the snarky comment, it's just because I'm that good, you're dealing with me. And then obviously at that point, then we got something like this going on. Now, as far as this gun went, as far as it deviated more on our settling rounds, absolutely. On this gun, it had a grip safety, okay, and we actually wrapped a rubber band around the handle of the gun. Obviously, our grip inserts are molded to the hand grip, so when I wrapped a rubber band around the handgun, you have a variable there, right? And now that gun can wiggle around and rock around where that rubber band was. So that was really on us. We didn't have the perfect grip for that thing. So on that first set of grouping, you can absolutely alienate that first set. And that's purely on us. We can do another set if you'd like to duplicate this.
No.
We don't pull shots. Ransom's not known for pulling shots. We want to give accurate data.
Yeah, no, I want to leave the test exactly as it has been.
Yes, sir.
In your explanation,
yeah,
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and so the gun has to settle. When you first fire the gun, it's going to rock back into the insert and settle. Well, on this particular 2011, we have a rubber band wrapped around the thing. So it wanted to rock in that rubber band location a lot. And we got a vertical group, a clear sign of a vertical group.
Going by what you're saying, the second series is really the only series that actually counts.
Yes, sir.
And even with the grip modification, this gun's grouping on the second series is tighter than the previous guns.
Yeah. And in all the guns, the only one you really want to consider is that second grouping. The first grouping, we just really lucked out. I mean, we had 1 or 2 rounds and then a pretty tight group. And we measured the first grouping, we always do. You'll see it in all our videos. We'll show you that first group, and sometimes it's just horrible because we're using a range ammo. We typically use the most inexpensive ammo, and we just throw 8 rounds through there. You'll see in our instruction manuals on polymers, it'll even say sometimes you may need 14 rounds. You'll clearly see it in our instruction manual. I typically tell all my customers 5 to 8 rounds for settling. And if you use the extended finger method and you get real good at putting the gun in there and lining up the beaver tail, you can literally get these things to settle pretty quick, as you witnessed today. But that was really luck of the draw. You even asked, hey, you know, how you get that in? You're just talking to me, you know?
That's perfect. Sounds great. Thank you.
And so that's where that's at. We are took in here, there, 750. There, 750. So you're talking a 3/4 inch group. The calipers are literally at 756, 756. That's just a beautiful round. Now keep in mind, on some of the other grouping, there was even a group, and you'll see this in our video when you review the video. There was another group that we got 750 on, if I recall correctly. but we actually alienated a round or something out here, and those were settling rounds. And then the second group looked more like an inch or something. You know, that's just the way it is when that gun settles down. Now I'm pretty confident I do another set of group here, she's gonna just drill that hole all day. And I would love to put another set, but we didn't do it with any other gun.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of set with 2 sets. Once again, 3 sets of 5 would be the standard. That would be 15 rounds, 8 and 8, 16 rounds. We did 16 rounds. We're pretty happy with it. But like I said, that first grouping, you can throw away for all the guns. It just is. We call them settling rounds. That's the way it is, and that's per our instructions. So you have to settle that gun as it goes back. And that rubber band around this gun causes this first group to settle a little more.
So without the rubber band, it would probably be even tighter.
It would have been tighter on our first group, no question about it. There's 1911s I'll put in there because on our 1911 insert, it enacts that safety. For some reason on this McCormick, it wasn't enacting that STI. Keep in mind, on the Glock insert, we used a Glock 17 Gen 3 insert. On the Glock 19 Gen 5, we used the Glock 19 Gen 5 insert. On the CP10, we used the CZP10C grip insert. On this STI Staccato, we used a McCormick grip insert. So it's modeled, it's still a mil-spec frame 2011. It's modeled after this style weapon, but it was not the exact grip insert for this gun. So it took a few more settling rounds to get that gun to settle.
Perfect. Thank you very much, sir.
We went out and we tested 6 different firearms. We gave you kind of an intro about what we were going to do. We were going to do 8 rounds, settle the gun, and then do a group. Basically puts about 16 rounds on target. You just saw the video. You even heard us explaining how first rounds were settling rounds. Really lucked out on these guns. It seemed like 1 or 2 rounds and it would just group. 1 or 2 rounds and it would group. Pretty well out of all the guns, if not just 1 round, and there you have it. I made a comment to one of the gentlemen who was there on the test. He says, how many do you typically just do 1 round to settle the gun? And I says, no, that's just you just talking to me. You know, I'm just that good. A little snarky, a little fun joking there, but truth be known, you typically do 8 rounds. But this just goes to show how when you put the gun in, extended fingers on tightening the gun, how you get your technique, it literally just settles in right away. So there was a total of 12 groups done. There's kind of a summary of it right there, but we're going to go through this right now. We started with the Glock 17 Gen 3. Typically on a Glock 17 Gen 3, we are expecting about 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inch group at that distance. In all of them I have tested in the past, that's kind of what I'm expecting. And this one did really well. It did 1 round and then settled 7 rounds in a 1-inch group. That was just fabulous. The following group, it also did 1 round, call it a hand rack round, or otherwise the gun absolutely settled at that point. During our testing, the slide comes back in chambers, comes back in chambers. So chambering that round and dropping the slide forward is no more forces applied than when it's auto cycling. It's just the forces applied to seat the bullet is different, because whether I drop the slide or I release the slide, those forces are different actually pushing the bullet in there. You've seen competition shooters, a lot of them when they go and they're competing, they'll drop the slide, maybe hit the back of the slide, and they boom, 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 boom. Sometimes that's the reason why they do that. Whether it's a slide lug issue or these guns just need broke in a little more or otherwise, it just gave you a hand rack flyer on that one. Our second group, 7 rounds within 1.4 inches. So I may comment right now, we typically in ammo variation, I expect 1/4 to 3/8 group from that variable. So if I get 1.4 inch out of this group, it can go down or up 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from that size. So if I tested 8 more rounds, it may be 1/4 or 3/8 smaller. If I tested 8 more rounds, it could be 1/4 or 3/8 larger. So a 1 inch to 1/4 is pretty well in that margin of what that gun can do, within that 1/4 plus or minus 1/4 inch. So for all sake and purposes, that was a 1/4 group in 7 rounds with 1 hand rack. If we measured the hand rack round, that was easily a 5 inch or 6 inch group. But for sake of discussion, we're just going to measure the 7 rounds on that one and call it a hand rack flyer. The Glock 19 here, this gave us pretty well what I was expecting to see out of a Glock 19. There you have it, that 1 3/4 inch, 1.5 inch, 3/4 group. This one was much tighter for whatever reason. That 1 inch, 1.5 inch, that was fabulous. This is on the other side of that 1.5 inch. It's the 1 3/4 inch. Once again, it will vary 1/4 inch. So it may go down to 1.5 inch, or it may rise up to 2 inch depending on the 8 rounds, the special 8 rounds you have. And it really depends on the ammo you use too. Some ammo will vary more than others, but typically you can say plus or minus this margin. Rule of thumb would just at least be a 1/4 inch. So we yielded quarter here, no flyer round, no hand rack round. You saw it on video, 1 3/4, and then we did it again, and we got about 1 3/4 as well, but 5 was at 1 3/8. A couple outlying here, but if you actually look at the various size group and the various size group, they are relatively the same. If we did 16 rounds, you would see this would be just one hole. That is kind of the circular pattern that gun will hold. Same here with the previous gun. That circular pattern is literally what that gun's holding. You will see that if I took that group and overlaid it on that, that's just that circular pattern. So once again, we only did 8 rounds, but if you did 16, that's clearly what you would also have. So there's our Glocks out of the way. Okay, we moved on to the Smith & Wesson Mp 2.0. First round settled here. As the gun fired and recoiled, it settled into the grip insert, and it planted all the rest of them right up there. Similar to here, it settled down, and then it planted some there. So this one settled down, 7 rounds at 1 3/8. Not a bad group. Once again, it would vary, let's say plus or minus a 1/4 inch of that, but it did 7 rounds, 1 3/8. First round was clearly a settling round. This was our first grouping. In the second grouping, it was settled right down, 1 3/4. Once again, about a 1/4 inch higher than that, or let's say 3/8 higher than that, you got your 1 3/4 there. That's about what we're typically looking at. If we did 16 rounds, you would see this just peckle that circle there. If we took that grouping, even as weird looking as it does, and overlaid over that one, they are relatively the same size pattern in the way they just fly out of that barrel. So you're talking 1.5 inches, you know, plus or minus a 1/4 inch for that MMP as well. We're moving on to the Sig P320. This one, in our first group, we would say, okay, it settled back and yielded us a very nice group. It was 7 rounds at 3/4 of an inch. Once again, you'd say that could vary a 1/4 inch. So it could go down to a 1/2 inch, or it can go up to 1 inch. So down here, we have the same situation. Now we have 8 rounds, 1.5 inches. It's a little larger than what was expected, but if you watch the video, that was our hand rack round, that bottom one there. And then it just pretty well plowed a hole. So 6 of them was within 5/8, and our 7th was within, I believe it said 1.25 inches. Yeah, it's 1, outside and outside for 7 of them, 1.5 inches for all 8 rounds. But obviously that would be a hand rack situation. We'd have to do another test to see if that hand rack round, racking the slide or letting the slide down, gave us that hand rack flyer. But we'd say she's within an inch gun. So the 10C, moving on to that, we had a 7/8, 7 rounds. First hand rack was down here in our first group, and then 7/8 group in 7 rounds. Our second group, we yielded 1.25 in 7 rounds. Our first round, a hand rack flyer, that would put that group to a 2 inch. But once again, you had that hand rack flyer. It's not uncommon. Seating that bullet, the forces applied is not the same as when it auto cycles. This brings up a very interesting point though. It's okay to miss at the range, but if you miss in real life, that's never good, never good. When you look at these groups and you're like, hey, I got 1 inch at 15 yards. Well, at 30 yards, you're looking at over 2 inch. At 50 yards, you're probably pushing that 3 inch. If you get some of these where you're hitting 1 3/4 at 15 yards, you're pushing over 3.25 inch at 30 yards. And then you stretch this out to 50 yards, that one flyer there at 1.5 inches, you stretch that out to 50 yards, that one flyer is so far out of here and it's so far off into left field or right field, that could be a very bad situation. And we know that to be true. Same here, that one flyer at 30 yards away or 40 yards or 50 yards away, that one flyer will be just absolutely detrimental. The others look fabulous. That one flyer though, you've ever sat there and pulled out and you're at 20 yards away and you missed that soda can, boom, hey, I missed it. And then you hit it the second and third and fourth round, well, there you go. You missed it on that first round, second, third, fourth rounds, you nailed it. And there you go, that's simply why, that hand rack flyer. Moving on, this is the CZP10. We got 7/8 at 7 rounds with that one hand rack flyer. 1.25 inches at 7 rounds, a 2 inch total. This looks kind of elongated. I made the comment that looked like a very elongated group. Truth be known, if you take that 7 round and overlay it in there, you're looking at the same size and shape as that first grouping. that hand rack just a little closer. It didn't deviate as much because the gun had settled. You still had a hand rack flyer, but it just was not as evident. Obviously, our first group, the gun had to settle in the insert as well. Our second group still had a hand rack flyer, but it was already settled in the group. That brings us to the Staccato, our last group. On the Staccato, we had the rubber band. I'll throw a photo of that up right now. We had relieved the insert for the flare on the magwell, and then we wrapped a rubber band around it to enact the grip safety. We threw that right into the ransom rest. On video, first 2 rounds were down here, and then it yielded 6 rounds in a 7H group, 875. I think it was 975 outside to outside. It was roughly 875 center to center. 8 rounds was 875, but obviously those first 2 rounds are down there. But she's out there for those first 2 rounds. Now that the gun settled, 6 rounds, 875, boop, 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 planted her about right there. We did 8 more rounds, 3/4 of an inch with no flyer round. But I would place my money, there's no hand rack flyer on that gun, and it will continue to drive that. Now keep in mind, you're gonna plus or minus within 1/4 inch of that, depending on your ammo variation. Some ammo would vary more, but we'll just say within 1/4 inch of that. So this gun can go down to 1/2 inch, probably up to 1 inch. That's where we rate this gun. It's a 3/4 inch group at that distance. Stretching this out to the 30 yards, you're 1.5 inches. Stretching it out to the 50 yards, you're looking at 2.5 inches, X-ring, no flyer round. I would say the clear winner in all these, and I suppose I could put this down here for explanation, but I would say for the clear winner in all these, even when you look at the wide view of all this, the clear winner is that Staccato in group size. No hand rack flyer, and then when you stretch this out, now at this point, and zero it at the distance we would like to zero it for us shooting offhand, we pull it out of the ransom rest and start duplicating those shots and start duplicating this. Our philosophy to this is, if I am holding 1.75 inches in the ransom rest offhand, I'm 1 inch to 1.5 inches larger. So that means I'm going to hold 2.75 to 3.25 offhand at 15 yards. Okay, so I'm holding 3.25. I'm not looking so good. I'm not looking so tight. If I can get it down to, let's even say 3/4, we'll call it a 1 inch group in a ransom rest. Well, now offhand, I'm holding 2 inch and 2.5 offhand. I'm looking a lot better. If you're holding that 2 inch offhand, you're more like 3.5. It's just easy. You're going to move around some more. So it's very important to get this group as small as you can, because I'm easily 1 inch, 1.5 inches bigger offhand. Some are more, some are less. But you can absolutely say, if I got 3/4 of an inch here, I'm going to be 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches, and now I'm looking like a wizard.